So I did not make it to the summit. That's when I knew I had to go back. Here's the breakdown of the hike. I'm gonna hike up to Mt Gould, or at least that was the goal. So this is my second attempt, as the first time the winds were strong. But will I make it? We'll find out. On the way up to the summit, I will point out several lakes on the way. This is the parking lot right here. It fills up pretty quickly. But there are bears that come out here and will break into your car, so just be wary of that. And make sure to keep any type of food out of your car before you start this hike. But we're gonna start and go straight up here, up this road. So this right side will take you to Sakarji Pass. So we're gonna enter right here through Kurseji Pass. We're gonna see how this goes and see how the impact the elevation gain has on me compared to my hike to San Gorgonio. So we just have to go up through these switchbacks up here. And there is a gentleman going up through there. So there are supposed to be 4 lakes on the way up to the peak. So I will point that out in the video later on. In 5 miles, we will enter the national park boundary line. So we're going to reach this junction. And there's going to be a right turnoff right here, but we're not going to go that way. We're gonna go on the left side up here. And these are just the views you get on the way up. Just amazing. So far, the hike has been pretty gradual up to this point. You get these sweeping views of the eastern Sierras. Entering the John Muir Wilderness at this point. When you get to this section of the hike, there's going to be some water on this left hand side, and on your right hand side there's going to be the continuation of the trail. So at this point in the hike, you can see the valley floor from here, and this right here is the amount of elevation gain we have gained so far, which is about, well, I'll check the Y'all's Trails app later on, and maybe I'll put that there on the bottom of the video. So at this point of the hike, you're gonna get this view of University Peak up there, and that right there is another 13er. But this is back on the path. So just 1 mile into this hike, you're going to see a waterfall coming down the mountain right there. So you can see down there, the valley floor right there. And that right there is the road that we came up through to get to here. So we've done a lot of climbing at this point. We're almost at 10,000 feet. I believe at this point I'm probably around 9,800 or 900 feet. So 9,800-ish area. There is a source of water down there if you need it, any water. Otherwise, back to the trail. So one of these peaks is going to be Kurseji Peak, if I pronounced that correctly. So we are about to pass the first lake on the way up, but if you look near those mountains right there, you can see some snow left over. So this lake right here is actually called Little Pothole Lake, and later on you're gonna see that there's another one called Big Pothole Lake. But it's not a very big lake, but it's always neat to have water when you're hiking up in the mountains. And the beauty of this hike is just a true testament to the alpine environment that we're in. And we are in a sparsely separated forest with manzanita growing throughout the trail. So at this point in the hike, I will be approaching the second lake before the summit. And just before the second lake, you're gonna come across this boulder field right here. When we get to this part of the hike, peaks will open up that you wouldn't otherwise see at the very beginning of the hike. So this is how you know you're making progress at this point. So we have reached the second lake. So this is Gilbert Lake. And you can see some people camping way up there. Maybe not in the video, but in person you can see it. And just behind this lake, there's actually a little section where you can set up your camp right there. So the next stop will be Flower Lake. So right here, there's going to be that sign for Matlock Lake, which is going to be the left side over there. But we're going to continue on straight ahead. So down there is Flower Lake. So that means we're near at the halfway point. Here is a better view of the lake. So this is another pristine alpine lake. So we are approximately halfway there, but these peaks just inspire me to climb higher and higher each time. You have these nice rocks carved into stairs, which definitely helps you reach your destination. So you can't see it right now, but we're passing up Heart Lake, and then after that lake will be Big Pothole Lake. So you can see all this from here. This is the trail. We got to go up here, and there's some more switchbacks up there. But up there will be the lake. Right before you reach this switchback, there's a turnoff to the lake. One thing to note about this lake is if you look at the shape of this lake, it's shaped like a heart. Hence the name Heart Lake. So we have to go up all those switchbacks up there. And this is views of the valley floor. Down there. We should be approaching Big Pothole Lake as soon as we get through these switchbacks. But I believe perhaps one of these could be the peak, but I'm not 100% sure. Here's to give you the idea of what the trail looks like around this point in the hike. Switchbacks, peaks, Heart Lake down there, valley floor. Another peak. So up there, you can't see it, but there's somebody up there on that trail. So we're going to be up on the side of that mountain right there. Just a better view of the lake. So I'm definitely starting to feel the effects of the high altitude at nearly 12,000 feet. So the trails app brought me right here, where it doesn't seem to be a trail to the summit. So I'm going to see if I can navigate around here to get to the peak. Trail that leads to the peak. So we came down from there. We still have 0.9 miles to the summit. So I'm back and I gotta traverse through all of this. So this is what we got left. That's the bottom down there. It's views. So that's Bullfrog Lake right there. And these are the Kearsarge Lakes from Kearsarge Lakes Pass. So I'm officially at 12,000 feet right now. Down there you can see Kearsarge Pass. I believe that's the false peak, but behind it should be the actual peak. So far it's merged on and off to a trail, and then class 2 rock scrambling. But we're gonna go up through here. So from a distance you can see Big Pothole Lake, Flower Lake, Gilbert Lake, and I think that's Matlock Lake. So I come across some class 3 rock scrambling right here. So I'm just gonna climb over these taluses to get up there. Beautiful from up here. Or class 3 scrambling to the top, it looks like. Being this high up definitely gives you a different perspective. While this isn't the peak, you do get great views from here. On one side you could see Kearsarge Lakes, Bullfrog Lake, Flower Lake, Gilbert Lake, and Matlock Lake. You can see all the ice on the mountains. It's pretty cool. We got about 3 miles left to the summit. Just need to make it past this. So I believe those are golden trout lakes, if I'm not mistaken. Approaching the summit. It's gonna be up here somewhere. All right, almost to the peak. Have made it to the top of the mountain. 13,000 feet. It's just amazing up here. Bullfrog Lakes, Kearsarge Lake, the other side of the mountain range. So that may have not been the peak, but I'm happy with the views I got. And I climbed very high. So I think I'm going to head back down now, because I am absolutely just drained. This is one of the hardest hikes, if not the hardest.
This was around the moment I had to turn back around, as I was developing a severe headache and nauseous. My body was very weak, and I did see the actual summit from about 50 yards, but I opted to stop at the false peak because I needed the energy to conserve for me to get down before symptoms exacerbated. But this is the actual summit. I took a picture of it. Thanks for watching.